Okay, we're live, man. We're
Live and direct.
Geordie's down south. Live. We haven't done this in a minute. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good. It's good. How are you doing, peeps?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Good to be back with you boys again. It's been a long time. Long time since we've done a live show. So all good, man. All good. Ready to talk Newcastle with you.
Right.
I'm currently watching the imposters take our place in the Champions League at the moment, seeing how they warming up the little grass for us, for next season. Go ahead and enjoy yourselves while it lasts.
Let them do their little thing, man. Let them do their little thing, man. Our time's coming soon, man. So you know what I'm saying. Like you said, they're just warming up the grass for us.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, listen, we need to get through a couple of these rumours, man, because you know how it is coming towards that end of the season, preparing for next season as well. There's a lot of rumours flying about, man. You know, them Kai Havertz rumours are still not going away from me. You know what I'm saying? You're never gonna live that one down, bro. You're never gonna live that one down.
But there's the thing, though. There's no way you would not take Kai Havertz.
I don't know about now, bro.
You think about it. You consider if they said we're linked to Kai Havertz, we won't be like, oh, that's dead. That's rude. That is rude.
I know, bro. I still might take Almiron over Kai Havertz right now, bro. Like
mad.
I know that I never thought I would say that ever, but I'll take him over Kai Havertz right now. But
well, it's like with the McTominay thing, and I'm like, I'm all right with Sean Longstaff, I'm all right.
No, but listen, here's the thing. Right, two things. The first thing, we're preparing for next season. So Longstaff can't do it all by himself. As much as he's he's the Mr. Geordie boy. He's like Forrest Gump. I call him the Geordie Darren Fletcher, but he can't do it all by himself. So we need to have some strength and depth. Now McTominay, that link is not going anywhere, and I know Eddie Howe loves his British players, but when I'm seeing the 50 million price tag, I'm like, whoa. Like, they're trying to bump us. They know we've got money, yeah, but we're not stupid. Like, I'm not trying to be mega disrespectful to McTominay because he's had a little purple patch. Maybe call it pink, maybe not purple. But 50 mil. Pete, help me out here, bro. 50 mil.
Look, you know as well as I do that's got the Newcastle tax written all over it. There's no way that anyone in Europe's paid 50 million for Scott McTominay. And you know what? If they are, they must have more money than Newcastle do, because there ain't no way that anyone's paying that sort of money. You wait. He'll probably get his move in the summer. It won't be to Newcastle. And it'll probably be at least half of what has been quoted. And Man U will still see that as a good bit of business. So look, for me, the links are there. Does Harry? What am I saying, Harry? Or does Eddie Howe rate Scott McTominay? Yes, I think he does. I think he's on the list. But for me, I think he's way down the list.
Page 10.
Yeah, I would say, and this is just my own opinion, I would say there's probably at least 7 or 8, maybe 9 other midfielders he'd probably go for ahead of him. You got to remember, we're not dealing with our old regime now. We've got a regime now that have got big pockets, but they've got big scouting networks. You guys have just seen over the last couple of weeks the new scouts and the new direction, the new team that they're putting together. They're looking far and wide for players all over the world. Players that we haven't even heard we've been linked with, will be linked with, no doubts. So Scott McTominay, not for me.
Rumby, what are you saying? Because I know you're a Longstaff lover, man. Like he's like your adopted son, man. The amount of times you keep defending him in the group chat, man. Come on.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I peaked game in it. Man United are broke in it. So they're trying to get us to fund their new revolution. Ain't gonna happen. Not with Scott McTominay. Hell no. Got nothing against him. He's decent. For squad depth, the problem is, like, when you say for squad depth, he's not even a starter for me. Like, he doesn't come into our team and start. So if we're looking, like you said, we're trying to level up. So if we're trying to get another midfielder in, he has to be able to start over Longstaff. And that's the level. Do you see what I'm saying? And I don't feel McTominay brings that. If they want to give us Casemiro for 50 million, all right, cool. We'll do that. we can talk business then, but not Scotty boy. That's just not. I watched him against Newcastle. Come on, man. I was like,
non-existent. What? I seen it in the flesh I seen it left. Longstaff versus McTominay. There was only one winner there, and it definitely wasn't McTominay. Like, I barely knew he was playing. Like,
Yeah, me too.
He's a ghost. So this 50 million price tag is crazy. I think tops I would pay is 20, and that's generous. Like 20 million tops. I don't know where they're getting this 50 million.
You know
from.
what? Scott McTominay was when we brought in Wood. That was that phase. He could have got in then. You know, we brought in Wood and who else did we bring in? Dan Burn, and those people were like, really? That's what they're bringing in? He could have got in then. Now we're going for names you can't pronounce. You see what I'm saying? They're foreign names. Luswanta, you know them ones with the hyphen. We're going for the hyphen brothers. Yeah. You know what I mean? Scott McTominay just ain't gonna cut it. Listen, I don't even understand the Mason Mount, but not a Scott McTominay.
Craig saying 50 million lira.
Yes, Craig.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree with that one. Yeah, like McTominay, I don't know where they're getting this 50 million price tag. Look, I get it. He fits the mold in terms of what Eddie Howe loves. No, but he loves a British player. Come on, don't do that for me. You know he loves.
Do you know what? I
British
feel like
player.
people have misunderstood Eddie, you know. Eddie did tools with what he has. I'm like, Eddie's like, y'all don't even know me yet. I'm about to get Matt step over players in. Like, this is just what I had. Like, I'm about to level up, bro, on another level. Like, I think people are sleeping on Eddie.
No, but come on. Think about it. Look, Pete. Look, if we're playing, when we're playing Champions League football next season, I'm gonna say when, not if. When. Sorry, forgive me. Yeah, when we're playing Champions League football next season, we're gonna have to rotate the squad. I know we're hell bent on this. Like, most of the time, we play with the same players week in, week out. These guys are getting tired, man. So we're gonna have to sub someone in. And
yeah, rotate is Sean Longstaff. That's the rotate. The person we bring in is the name, and that's not Scott McTominay. You know what I'm saying? I can pronounce that too easy. I want to be able to. Do you know how long it took me to pronounce Bruno Guimaraes? I had to practice that, bruv. That's the kind of names I'm looking for.
I still have to practice it now. That's what I'm saying. Bruno. Get Bruno in.
Bruno G. Just call him Bruno G. I'm doing that. I want them kind of names, not Scott McTominay. That shit rolls off the tongue too easy.
No, you're right. You're right. It's a squad game, but as from we said, you want your current players to become the backup players to your team next season. And let's face it, if we're playing Champions League football, we need Champions League ready players. It's as simple as that. And so that's where the squad needs to be beefed up. So look, I'm expecting at least, I said to you boys, 3, maybe 4 big. I'm talking like 40, 50 million signings where we're just blowing teams out the water. You know what? We might even sign 2 in one day. Why not? Let's do 100 million in a day. I'm looking for those types of players that are coming in, but will be then buffered by 1 or 2 of those squad type players, because we're not going to go out and spend 300 million. We could. Nah. We got the money. We could go do a Chelsea. We could probably double what Chelsea did. You know what I mean? We've got the money to do it, but we're not going to do that. So we're going to play it smart. It's going to be a really, really interesting summer. But as you said, Clint, when we get Champions League football, all bets are off for players. Honestly, all bets are off, because I tell you what, it shows that Newcastle are at the head of the table, and when we're there, players, agents, they're going to listen. They're going to want to know what Newcastle United are saying before they confirm where their client's going to go to. That's
Pete, it's going to be them ones where the players are writing in saying they're going to be missing training, bro. We're going to cause a lot of players to skip training, Robert. Writing in letters saying they got 10 cousins in Africa they have to feed. Newcastle's been their dream.
Yeah, you know what?
That's it for going, bro.
For a lot of those players that we're linked with, their preseason doesn't start July the 1st. It starts July the 4th, because they ain't going training. They're going to want to know what we're saying, because their first preseason training is going to want to be with us, not with their current club. So there's going to be a lot of unhappy managers coming back on July the 1st, because people are going to want to hear what we've got to say.
Listen,
and we were mugged off last season, We were mugged off last season. Them man thought it was a 10th, 7th thing. I don't want to play in the conference. That's why they mugged us off. Top 4, you know.
It's what for, you know. Wow.
There you go.
I'm
And
still.
you've got. Sorry, go on.
No, I was gonna say I'm still thinking we could get Tielemans. I think Tielemans is a safe bet for me. I know you're talking about the foreign name that you can't pronounce, but
No, but I'm sure. I can't pronounce that either. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. Now we're talking. I can see the vision in that. Tielemans immediately puts some stuff on the bench. Immediately, I can see that. You understand?
It makes sense because again, like if Tielemans comes in, he saves us a transfer fee. Yes, we'll probably be paying a little bit more over the odds in wages, but again, it's a level up from McTominay. I'm sorry, Man United fans, are you listening? It's a level up for sure. And then again, it allows us to spend big, more than 2 levels. And then again, it allows us to spend big in other positions as well. I'm just gonna go to the comment section. Craig is dreaming big here, man. He said, and Jude Bellingham. Boy can play all the positions, could rotate it with Bruno. We're playing with Bruno. Seriously, if he's coming to the Premier League, there's only us or City. Dream big. I like that, Craig. You're dreaming big, man. That's what you got to do. You got to.
Hey, we put in a bid for Bellingham, yeah. Everyone's gonna jump on us. Everyone, even I'm gonna jump. I'll make a bid on FIFA. That's how mad that will cause a stir. We'll say, hell no, hell no, hell no. They'll fight us to the end for that.
Craig putting that comment on, I see the stars in their eyes when you the screen. The stars.
Hey, Pete, I've been low key saying it. Yeah. Imagine we go and put in a bid for Jude Bellingham. Just mess up the whole transfer market. Imagine that.
For me, got a question for you. He said, "Can you say Bellingham?"
I gotta practice that. Bellingham, is it with a loud G or is it a silent G?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Seb. I heard a Leicester fan on radio recently said Madison is overrated. Overrated.
You know what? That comment doesn't surprise me.
Neither.
It surprise me purely because, I'll be honest, his last 3 or 4 games haven't been good. He hasn't been great. I mean, he gave the ball away for the Bournemouth goal. It was a poor pass. And he hasn't been good. And Leicester fans hold him up as the Messiah. They hold him up as the guy that's going to keep them in the league. So when he doesn't get a goal or get an assist in a game, they're on his back because they end up losing that game or struggle to win a game. So they need him. Now, what they've got to realise is that they've got other players, Jamie Vardy, they've got Harvey Barnes, they've got Tielemans, although he's been injured, I think he's back now. And they've got other players there that need to stand up and be counted. They can't just expect him to do the business. And it's a little bit similar to what we were like with ASM.
Yeah.
We were like, give us the ball, let him do the business. If he doesn't say today, he's rubbish, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Look at us now. You've got Miggy on double figures. You've got Wilson on double figures. He's that close to double figures. You've got Joe Linton on what, 6, 7 goals this season. You know what I mean? You've got players that are all contributing in the team. We've not even talked about Bruno Guimaraes. We've not even talked about Joe Willock. We've not even talked about those type of guys. Trippier with his 6 assists this season. What we've got is players that are all contributing. So I'm not surprised that Leicester are doing that. They're frustrated. They're angry. They're looking like they're going to go down. And they're looking at pointing the fingers at their top players. That doesn't mean that he's not quality. That doesn't mean he doesn't go to a Newcastle or a Tottenham and tear it up next season, which I believe he will. Whoever he goes to, he'll tear it up because he's in a team where he's not expected to do everything. He comes into that team, into this Newcastle team. I'm convinced they'll get double figures in goals and probably assists next season. His creativity is on another level. You've got Wilson and Isak. Isak's going to be like, he's getting his knife and fork ready. He's ready to eat. He's ready to eat. Madison whipping those balls in. He's ready to eat.
On a plate.
Do you know, I think with Madison, it's a tough one because when you look at Leicester, and they should not be where they are in this season at all. Nowhere near that place. And so you think to yourself, what's going on type vibe, innit? And so I can see why, like you said, people can say, he's overrated. But I feel like even he can smell the mood at Leicester. Just what I'm saying. And he knows, bruv, this team goes down, I stay up. So, it's what it is.
But you know what? There's a few of those players that are like that, and that's probably part of the reason why.
And I'll take Harvey Barnes and Madison off their hands just to make sure that it's a nice smoothing divorce. We will look after those two. I'll take those two.
A favor, right? We're just doing them a favor.
Yeah. Make sure they reach their potential.
The Leicester, if Leicester do go down this season, does that sort of remind you of the 2 Newcastle seasons where we went down? Because you're talking about, look, we've got all the money in the world that we can go out and spend. We can go out and get top players across Europe. But we're talking about getting Tillemans, we're talking about getting Madison, we're talking about getting Harvey Barnes. Is that a little bit similar to when we went down the last time and they cherry-picked Gini Wijnaldum and Sissoko and Yanmat? Look, he ended up being shit, but he was one of our better players that season.
Mitro left.
No, Mitro stayed. He stayed. He stayed in the Championship, but rapidly. But those kind of players that ended up moving on, is it kind of like that where look, we should have never gone down that season. We should have never gone down. But we had a shit manager, or shit owner, and that's the reason. But do you kind of see it like that, or do you?
Yeah, similar to that. Like you mentioned all those names there, to go down with that squad as well, that was crazy to think that. Perez as well, still played with us, Sissoko, that we eventually sold to Spurs. Shelby as well.
Perez is pissed.
Well, Perez, he's to be fair, he left Leicester and went to Betis and was playing Europa League against Man United not long ago. So I don't think he's that pissed off. And
he'll get a move anyway.
His contract's out, so his contract's out in the summer. So his loan is till the end of the season. So he won't go back to Leicester now.
Okay.
I think he's trying to win a deal at Betis. But look, if it had had a little bit of hindsight, and look, none of us knew what was going to happen with Newcastle.
Nah.
If he stuck with us, he could have been part of this potentially. But equally, he won an FA Cup, a Community Shield. Is he really moaning? Probably not. So I think it was a win-win. We got the 30 million. We got the 30 bags. He got a couple of trophies. But in the years to come, we'll get the bigger ones.
Got a question for you too out of the chat from John Walker saying, what do you think of Brennan Johnson from Forest? I think that's come up in the group chat a couple of times, his name.
Thing is, we've already got Anthony Gordon on the school term project. And I just don't think we need another school term project to be going on. You see, Anthony Gordon's already throwing tantrums because he's coming up. You see what I'm saying? So we got a lot of our hands in the school term project department. I think Brennan should go to a West Ham or an Everton if they stay up and try and progress there. No. Remember, we're top.
Oh, don't ruin him there, man.
Yeah, whatever, dog. Whatever. We're top 4. Okay. Brennan Johnson, too easy to pronounce for me. Okay. It's just not gonna. It's not a level up. We've got Jacob Murphy. We've got. Do you know what I mean? It's just not. It doesn't do anything for me. Brennan Johnson. We've got better players already, in my opinion. I want better than the ones we have.
From is absolutely nail on the head there, and I fully agree. If we'd have not got Anthony Gordon in January, I'd say, you know what, I'd take him because I actually rate him as a player. I like him. He's actually quite similar to Anthony Gordon, and I actually think technically he's probably better than Anthony Gordon right now. His ability to, I think he's got 8 goals this season. He's close to double figures. He's had a good debut season in the Premier League. He's 21. Only 2 years ago, he was on loan at Lincoln City. Now he's tearing up in the Premier League, 21. So, give him his flowers. He's done the business. And I like his character. He's already a leader in that team. I actually think personally Forest will stay up. So I think he'll stay with the club. I think they'll stay in the Premier League and he'll give it another year at Forest. And
so do you think we'll take that last spot, Pete?
Why are you looking that far down? Lads, why are we looking that far down? This ain't the normal season.
I know.
No, I'm just curious because it's between Everton and Forest for me. So you think Everton will go?
We talked about it before, and I don't know if I put Forest in my 3, but for some reason, I just think that they're going to stay up. I do. I think Everton will go. I genuinely believe Everton will go, partly because I'm desperate for them to go and I want them to. I want them gone, man. I want them gone. I'm sick
Hey,
of it.
I tell
I'm
you
sick-
who's not going. Newcastle.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sick
think
of
we're
the
secure
rubbing it
now,
in
lads. I
your
think we're actually secure. I think we've hit 40.
You think we've hit the safety marks?
Just about. Just about.
They've been rubbing it in our faces for God knows
Mad.
that they're played in every Premier League season and blah 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 blah. This, that, and the other. They've achieved a half of what we've achieved whilst playing Premier League football. They've had
Isn't it?
one Champions League and they got knocked out in the qualifying rounds. You know what I mean? Like they're just a nothing team. You know, spent 700 million and got nothing for it, about to get relegated on the back of it. I want them gone. But anyway, I think Forest will stay in the league. So I think that'll probably be a non-factor with Brennan Johnson. I think he'll stay at the club and give it another year for them, personally. But as you said, absolutely spot on. We've got Anthony Gordon. He's the project. He's the young gun that we're looking to build and develop. The next winger, and we've said it before, boys, I think we all agree, the next winger that we get has to be Champions League ready. That's who you're going to pay the big bucks for. That's the one that you're going to splash down your 50, 60 million and say, you know what? He's our guy. Go and take us to the next level.
Look at it like this, yeah. We signed Bruno G when we were in a relegation scrap. That's why we're here now, because he was Champions League ready. Do you see what I'm saying? So we can't be bringing in mans where he's going to be looking at like, are you man serious? Like, I'm trying to, Madrid are phoning me, you know. You see who's on their wings.
There we go. Before we go on to the next name, I just want to shout out some people in the chat. Keep your comments coming in. We've got Joe Linton in the house. I don't know if it's the real Joe Linton or not. Maybe. But he says, fuck with Tommy. I don't want dog shite footballers. Yeah, that's my Joe. We've got Seb saying, I'm so glad it's not just fourth place up for grabs. Can't lie. I didn't think we'd catch United chasing third or fourth, raises our chances hugely. And then the Aussie Geordie saying DRB. Hand emojis. Yeah, we're all saying DRB. But the next one we're going to say or talk about, should we say, is Wilfred Zaha. Now, this link has come out of nowhere, man. Like, it's not a young buck Wilfred Zaha no more that was tearing up when he first got into the Premier League with Yannick Bolasie and that. This guy's approaching 30, I want to say, Pete. Is that right?
Yeah, so, I think he's already 30 now. I think he just turned 30 this season, if I'm right.
Yes. So his contract's coming to an end soon, I believe, this season. Yeah. If not, following season. But I don't know. Great player.
If he played Europa.
If he played Europa, what you take?
If we make Europa, on a free, bring him in. I'll take that. But the Champions League, that music, it just, you need a different dancer to that music. You see what I'm saying? Like that music. Like when that camera pans, you need to see, you know, that hairdo that lets you know this guy's from another country. That little hairdo, you know, the headband around his head. That's the kind of lineup I want to see.
See, we discussed it in the previous video. Like we needed that third striker, you know, that one that's gonna be humble enough to be sitting riding the bench when Wilson's doing the business, when Isak's doing the business. Will Zaha do that? He's coming from Crystal Palace, where he's the main guy, captain, all the rest of it. Big show pony to riding the bench. I can't see it.
Nah, I don't think you want to do that at all. And I don't blame him either. Do you see what I'm saying? I think he should stay at Palace. I don't see the reason to move, you know, unless it's a big money payday. I don't think don't get me wrong, he's not that he's not good. It's just, again, what we're going to be playing for next season, we can't just sign a Zaha. We need another person on top of that. Because I just don't, like Pete said, I just don't think he's a Champions League ready player.
Yeah. I feel like he's missed his big move. Like, what do you reckon, Pete?
Yeah, his big move was meant to be to Arsenal 2 years ago, when Arsenal went all out for him in the summer, and basically, I think Palace put like a £75 million like price tag on his head, and it was, look, for as good as he wasn't worth that. They would have been overpaying, and Arsenal were in a position to do that then, which is fair enough. And Arsenal's his boyhood club, if I'm right in thinking. So there's a lot of people that think he's going to go there on a free, but Arsenal winning the Premier League, are they going to take him up at that point? Probably not. I'll be honest, we talked about this in lockdown when the takeover was first in its movement, and we were talking about players who we bring in and blah blah blah. And I think there might have been a couple of us on the panel that said that would take Zaha. I was definitely one of them. I would have took him all day. I thought he would have been a great player to have. Zaha on one side, Maxi on the left. You know, trickery and attacking ability. Right now, if we get Champions League football, I think somebody's right. I think we look beyond him. You look at his age, you look at how much he's going to command for that short period of time. Is it worth it? It's not like he's got reams of Champions League football experience where you go, you know what, he's got experience. He can maybe get us through a group stage into the knockout phases because he knows what he's doing. He's been there. He hasn't. He's been good in Premier League football at Palace, but making that step up is a different story. So for that reason, I think we'll probably look beyond him. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go somewhere like an Aston Villa. Somewhere like that. I wouldn't be, because I don't think that the teams that would have looked at him, I'm not sure that those same teams will still look at him in the same way. I don't think Arsenal will look at him in the same way. I think we would have looked at him. I don't think we look at him in the same way now. Is he going back to Man United? No. Is he going to go Man City? No chance. Is he going to go to Liverpool? No, they don't need him. Is he going to go to Chelsea? They've already got a million wingers that they're trying to get rid of now, and they've got Nkunku coming in the summer, so they don't need him. The only one I can really say other than that, Tottenham.
Yeah.
If Kane goes, they're going to need to rejig, maybe. But is he going to start? Is he going to be another Richarlison? Is he going to want to be a Richarlison sitting on the bench? Probably not. So he's going to look at his time and think, right, who's the team that maybe are going places underneath a Newcastle, a Chelsea, and the rest of that traditional top six? And it's probably an Aston Villa. Brighton look for good young players that they want to develop. Yeah, they won't look at him. So for me, it'll be that type of signing, or maybe a Brentford, somewhere like that. But would Brentford want to sign someone like him? I don't know. See, this is the thing. Unless he goes abroad, unless he goes and plays abroad,
I think abroad's the way forward for him. And Craig even makes a good point here. It's like, is he what the dressing room needs? And I don't know the guy personally, but I feel like he would be maybe too outspoken in terms, because he's coming in as an elder statesman as well. Like I said, he's coming in as a captain. He's coming as a leader for his previous club where he's been the main guy, and coming into a squad where, you know what Eddie Howe's like. Now you can tell by the Gordon incident, like he doesn't want people that are rocking the boat, so to speak. And then imagine Zaha coming in saying, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm not riding the bench every 3 games or so. Like I'm not doing that." So
to be fair, yeah, he's actually a quiet person. I've actually met him. Like he's a quiet dude.
Yeah, to you, maybe.
True. I think he actually matured under Vieira and Roy Hodgson in the sense where his attitude was more of an elder statesman, where he was actually taking all those young wingers under his wing. So I think he's matured in that sense. I just think, like Pete said, at the age he is now and where we're going, if we qualify for the Conference League, I'd take Zaha. Just what I'm saying, because you would be able to play in the Prem, but we're going to play one team in Southwest Portugal, Poland or something like that. So he could be that balance. However, Champions League football, he's just not needed for it.
Yeah,
we just don't need him. You see what I'm saying? When you look at Man United, yeah, they're pushing us. You know why? Because of Rashford. Look at the levels. Just one player can bring them, and they know once Casemiro's back, they go up another level. But when they brought in Casemiro, everyone was like, Casemiro. Even I was like, I mean, he's a dope player, but for 90 million, bruv. If they didn't spend that money, they'll be nowhere near us this season. So that's the kind of player we need to bring in, because they will level you up for real. And that's what I mean by when I say those players now in this phase, it's a level up thing, not he's had a good career and we've liked him in the Premier League for so long. He has to be the next best thing.
True. Before we talk about the Aston Villa game coming up, I want to talk about stadium and expansion, Pete. I know you'll know a little bit about that. Amanda Stabley's come out with a few positive comments like she usually does. Do you want to talk us through that?
Well, first off, it needs to start getting work on that now, because I need my season ticket pronto, bro. I need my season ticket now.
Mad.
Because, oh man, it is a madness trying to get tickets for games nowadays, particularly even at St James's Park, 52,000, and getting tickets for games is like getting the golden ticket. Willy Wonka and all that, and the chocolate factory and all that business. That's what the ticket feels like these days. But look, let's face it, boys. There's a reason why they bought the land just behind the Gallagher that was initially sold off by Mike Ashley. So, look, the situation is that they brought that land back. They're clearly wanting to do some form of redevelopment on it, but I think really as a fan base, we got excited when it was announced that they brought it back, but we're going to need to be patient. It's not going to happen overnight. It's something that they know they need to do if they're going to stay at St. James's Park, which they've already said they're going to do, but they're going to need to do it right. They've got a lot of technicalities. They've got a lot of buildings around there that they're going to need to get the okays from in order to redevelop it, and they're going to need to make it worthwhile. There's no point doing all that redevelopment for an extra 4,000 or 5,000 seats. They're going to need to at least expand by 10,000, 12,000 potentially to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, what's that phase for? Listen, at the start of the season, bro, there was 10,000 people waiting just to get season tickets after we sold out.
It's going to be called the St. Maracana at this point.
Yeah. The thing about it is that these are the little things that they're going to need to develop on, because the East Stand, where we see the Newcastle sign from, they've got listed buildings behind there, so they can't be knocked down. Yeah. So that's the one that they would love to build on. And if they could build on that, we're looking at a 75,000, 80,000 seat stadium if we were able to build onto that, but we can't. So they're going to have to try and extend onto that. So we're not going to be looking at, in my opinion, a 70,000, 75,000 seat stadium unless they do something amazing with it, and something revolutionary with our stadium. But what we're going to do is probably look at around maybe 10,000, 12,000 at the maximum. So you're looking at a 62 pushing to a 65, thousand seat stadium, which is still big numbers. But that's what we're gonna look at some point, and unless they have a U-turn on the listed buildings, which is the big sticking point. So I think what was talked about, I don't know for sure because I don't know all the ins and outs. What they talked about is having a fan zone, a fan area built where that piece of land is at the moment, just underneath the Metro Centre. So if anyone's been to the Etihad, if anyone's been to Man City, you will know they've got an amazing fan area, a fan zone where they have like live bands. They've got drinking areas. They've got fan areas where away fans, home fans, and a mixed area as well. We can all kind of meet up before the game. I think they're going to look at something a little bit like that. In the meantime, whilst they're working on plans, Mihai Kadusi is an architect. So he's going to be the one that's going to put it together. So that goes in our favour. So he's going to know the right people. We've got the money because we've got the owners who can put the money into whatever it needs to be done. So we're just going to need to be patient with that one, I think, if I'm honest with you.
What does that mean for us though, the fans? Like, because again, I'm hearing stuff about the season ticket, that there was a price freeze on that for 10 years, wasn't that? So again, will that mean that season ticket price is going to go up? Because let's face it, we're going into Champions League football now. It can't be cheap as chips all the time, in comparison to everyone else. So people might have to start, pulling extra shifts here and there, man, to see these Champions League worthy footballers and stuff like that. And they're going to have to start clawing money back eventually, aren't they?
Look, it goes with every team. Every team that plays Champions League football, they need to make money. Mm-hmm. They'll get money from the Champions League, but if you're regularly playing Champions League football, you need to make money as a club. That turnover needs to improve. You're not going to get Champions League. You're not going to get tickets for Champions League football at £20 a pop. You're just not, because it's the elite football. It's the top football. It's the top club football in the game. Like, that's the one that every player wants to play. So therefore, it's going to come at a premium. It's going to come at a price. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, that's something that goes with success. It's just the reality. And as much as we'll be frustrated, because it's Newcastle's a working class city. We've got working class people in there and that work hard all day, all week, just to have that release of going to watch their club. And it's hard at the moment as it is, but at some point they're going to have to up the prices. But our owners, they'll be considerate within that, and they'll do it they'll make the smallest jump possible, because they'll understand. They will already understand the fans and the background of the club in the city. So,
Hey, listen, man. If this Real Madrid versus Newcastle on a Wednesday, them tickets ain't going to be struggled. They're not going to struggle to sell.
nah,
Right.
not at all.
Let's talk about these lot. Aston Villa. These lot think we're rivals. They think we're in the same league, but we're not in the same league. If you get what I'm saying, like we're looking Champions League football. They're lucky just to be in and amongst us. Like, I can't even believe like you put him in the same sentence as us the other day. Like,
Do you know what? Yeah,
come
I'm
on,
even
bro.
gonna be nice to Villa fans and just be honest and say, you know what, Unai Emery is a boss. What they've done in the last 4 games, they've won 4 in a row. You know, so I've got to give them respect for that. It's a tough game. We can't
How
go
many
there
we won
thinking
in a row? How many we won in a row?
we won 5 in a row. 5 in a row.
Just checking. All right.
And you know, some tough teams in that list as well. We took some heads. We went to Brentford, you know, we went to West Ham and literally said, fuck your couch, right? So
Man United, we showed them who the real Bruno was, the real
right,
United was. All right.
right. And then Brentford, you know, Ivan Toney needed 3 chances to score a dead penalty, while Isaac just needed a layoff to put it top bins. So it's been a decent week, but I'm always one to respect the shooter. I can't lie to you and say I'm looking at Villa like easy food. We have to be at our best because they will want to make a statement too. And so we have to spank the kids.
Okay. I agree with that. Of course we do, man. Listen,
Mhm.
Champions League football is calling us, boys.
Yeah.
It's calling us. You can
If
hear
we
that.
beat Villa, though, the next live video we do, there'll be no respect for Tottenham. No respect. There'll be no respect. I'll be talking
Listen,
Greece.
we've all seen what we could do to Tottenham, even when we were not even meant to stay in the league. Like when we was relegated, we still spanked them 5-1.
No,
So,
but they beat us 5-1 last season. We owed them.
listen, remember when we went down there? That's what I'm saying. We beat them on the last day of the season 5-1. That's when we was going down.
That was a long time ago, bro. Last
That's
season,
not
I
that long
remember we
ago,
took a
bro.
hiding. Did they beat us 5-1 at home? They beat us 5-1 at home, innit?
Yeah, forget about that one.
Was it at home? That was at home, innit?
Who?
Aston
Tottenham.
Villa.
Last season.
I think Tottenham have beat us 5-1 at home, but we've beat them 5-1 at our place as well.
Yeah, so what I mean is, because we got Tottenham after the Villa game. So what I mean is, we owed them one. We owed them one. The Villa game,
season,
I'm nervous.
Last season, it was their place. It was at their place.
It was at their place. Okay, yeah, we got overzealous, but we we've beaten them there. But what I'm saying is, I look at this Villa game because Villa are way more organized than Spurs right now. Do you see what I'm saying? If we beat Villa, the way we will beat Spurs will be unfair to them because our confidence will just be stupid. 3 away games, Villa, Brentford, and West Ham, and we came up clean. Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Love it. I'm not as nice as you've been about Villa. I hate Villa, man.
Just say how it is, Pete. Just say how it is.
This is why I'm going to the game on Saturday. I'm going to the game because I just want us to beat them. I want us to beat them down. I just want us to win well, so we can stick it to their fans, and we can ride off into the Champions League sunset. Because the amount of their fans that are like literally counting down after every win they've got. Oh, we're 6 points behind you, and then we go in. Actually, no, you're 9 points behind us.
With a game in hand. And we got a game in hand.
With a game in hand, and then win again. Yeah, we're 6 points behind you. Then we win again. No, we're 9 points. You're 9 points behind. And I want to be like, no, you're 12 points behind. With the game in hand. One of those Jacob Murphy.
With the game in hand.
Yeah, with a little.
Yeah.
They've been creating some fake beef with us for a long time now. All that sub on the time nonsense, even when we won the championship and stuff like that. They've been trying to create rivalry with us for the longest time.
There's a Villa account on Twitter. All he does is troll Newcastle. It's actually hilarious to watch. Like all he does, like nothing's happening. He puts something up against Newcastle. It's just funny.
Listen, they got that little that Ollie Watkins guy. That's the only guy that I recognise. That's about it. Because I don't know what Leon Bailey's doing, bro. He seems like his head's in yard still. Like I don't know what Leon Bailey's doing right now.
Leon Bailey's improved. He's improved on Emery. He's playing some good stuff, but he pulled up with a hamstring injury last weekend, so he probably won't be playing at the weekend. But Ollie Watkins, a lot of people kind of don't rate him, but he's sitting on 11, 12 goals this season, 4 assists. He's not had a bad season. Again, this is not the first time he's hit double figures with Villa. There's clearly something about him, and he's doing well. And he is the one thing that we need to stop, because he's the only real source of goals at the moment. Most of their goals are coming from him, or he is the creator of the goals. He's either getting the assists or he's scoring them themselves. So if we have Botman and Shaw on point and we keep him quiet, Villa will struggle to score. Now, the one thing with Villa is that Villa have scored just as many goals as they've conceded. So, yeah, they do score goals, but they concede them and give chances. And when you've got Tyrone Mings in your team,
I was going to say,
likely you've always got a chance.
Is he still playing? Is he still starting?
Huh?
Mings is still starting in that team.
Yeah,
oh yeah, listen, he's doing this.
He's captain, but yeah, he's starting.
He's doing this.
When you said Ollie Watkins and he said he's the guy we have to stop, my mind said, "That's it. That's all." Start the shells for that. I don't want to waste Shaw's legs at that point. The thing with Botman is, apart from the mistake on Saturday, because I don't know what happened then, usually it's more controlled, but we all forget, hey, here's a maddest part. This was going to blow your minds. We all forget, homie's only 23.
I know. He's a young buck still.
I don't hold that. I don't hold that against him.
Bro, Joe Gomez gives Liverpool fans heart attacks. We've got a 23-year-old where when he makes a mistake, it's so evident. It's like, is he okay? It's our character right there.
I was on a top 6 show last week that had a Liverpool fan that was begging me to take Gomez next season. They said 40 million, Gomez, please take it.
No, man, we don't want it over here, man. We don't want your calamities over here. Those days are gone. The days of taking other teams' calamity defenders are gone. I'm done with that. Now we've got Rolls Royce defenders. None of that business going around here.
Imagine Botman is already that defender that you want to bring a young defender in to kind of learn under him.
Yeah. Absolutely. Shout out to Daz. Says, I'm going to be real. Watkins is just as good as Wilson, if not better. Is that what you're doing then, Daz, yeah?
Here's the thing, just to answer that. Better than Wilson? No. Here's the thing. I won't replace Wilson for Watkins. You feel me? I've already got him. The only difference between Watkins and Wilson, I believe if Wilson can stay fit for a whole season, he'll get way more goals than Watkins. Watkins stays fit most of the season. He's always fit. And it's a 12 goals thing. Wilson's what? Average season, 10 goals. And he's not been fit for us this season. He's been in and out. So if he plays the whole season where he's got the fitness of a Harry Kane, he gets way more goals than Watkins.
I think there are 2 goals difference. There's 2 goals difference between those 2 players this season, but Watkins has played like about 10, 11 games more this season, or started 10, 11 games more this season, which tells you everything you need to know. Now, that Wilson's 31, Watkins is 25, 26. At 25, 26, before his ACL injuries, Callum Wilson was playing better than what Watkins is now at his age currently, when he was playing for Bournemouth. So for me, I would take Wilson all day long. Wilson plays a different game now. He's had to change his game. He's very much more back to goal rather than in and behind, which is what Wilson used to be, which is what Watkins is now. So it's hard to kind of judge them player for player because they do a different role. But yeah, for me, if like a fully fit, as you said, fully fit Callum Wilson, I take him because he just offers you a lot more than what Watkins does. And Watkins misses chances. He misses gilt-edged chances as well. Not even Wilson misses that amount of chances compared to Watkins. But again, it's a game of opinions. People think differently.
I'm going to take you back here to when the takeover first came about. And we finally got rid of Bruce. And remember, the first name that we was going to bring in was Unai Emery. We was all getting ready to say good evening and all the rest of it. And obviously we ended up getting Eddie Howe. And now look how both managers have progressed with both teams. Would you now swap either managers for each other? Like Eddie Howe for Mr. Good Evening or not?
Editing. Even at that time, I wasn't fully sold on Emery. but I was going to appreciate who the owners brought in. Eddie Howe, I always liked. I thought he was the right man because there's no ego here. He's not got a point to prove, even though everyone said he's useless, but he just came in humble. And I look at the journeys now, I promise you, Unai Emery is not doing what Eddie Howe did. Nah. Right now, he's not. Eddie Howe's done what I never thought could happen in football to Newcastle. But if I watch my team now and I ask myself question, how is Jacob Murphy squaring like that? Like, it's just a madness to watch. And I don't think Unai Emery could have done that for us. Eddie Howe just got it, man. He just fit perfectly. So, no, I would not swap them around. I wouldn't swap them around even if we went in fourth.
Yeah. Pete? Not for me. You guys know this anyway, but even back when we had Steve Bruce, I wanted Eddie Howe. I wanted him to be our next manager. I respect the work that Eddie Howe's done, and he's surpassed himself even more because he's gone out of his way to improve his managerial game. So he's even better than he was when I first originally wanted him at the club. Look, with all the talk of Unai Emery, is Unai Emery a good manager? He is a very good manager, a good tactician. He's proven that by winning big trophies, European trophies, Europa League, 3, 4, 5 times. You know, he's proven his credentials. He's a good manager, but will I change him for Eddie Howe now? No, because I don't believe any manager would have come in and done what Eddie Howe did. The way he's come in to Newcastle and not only changed the way we are right now as a club, but what he did initially. Joe Linton, would Emery made Joe Linton a better player? Shaw, Miggy, he probably just got Murphy. He probably would have just got rid of all those players rather than work with them. But Eddie Howe is proven that he can make players better and not just sign players for the sake of it. So for me, Eddie Howe all day for me. Eddie Howe all day. He's proven himself to be one of the top managers in the Premier League right now, and deservedly so.
Got a great question in here from Craig. What's Eddie's ceiling? Does anyone know? And I think that piggybacks well off the previous question in comparison to the two, because I think part of the reasons why obviously we was going to bring in Unai Emery is because of his European credentials and all the rest of it. He's won leagues and trophies and all the rest of it, Premier League and all the rest of it. He's got experience with Arsenal, whereas Eddie Howe doesn't have that yet. So that's a good question from Craig. Like, what is Eddie's ceiling? Like, so far so good. He's got to a Carabao Cup final, great. Looking like a top 4 finish. But where can we go with him from there? Because there's some people saying, is he going to be in for a couple of years and then we need another manager to take us to the next level, or can he take us to the next level with?
But he's already taken us to the next level.
But you know what I'm saying about next level? We'll talk about like European football being a force, not just like dipping in and out of Europe. Like, okay, we're there to stay in Europe.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say what someone's ceiling is. You're only judged by your performances. So if he wins a trophy, his ceiling is he's the next best thing. But then you can go on the barren run and not win a trophy again after that. So I feel like I just want him to win a trophy. Once he wins a trophy, it doesn't really matter after that. Rafa's got so many trophies, but people don't talk about him like, one of the greatest managers. And he's won at the highest level. So I feel like Eddie just needs to get into that bracket of that Rafa zone where he's been respected for winning. Remember, Rafa won La Liga with Valencia. He's always held, they always love him for that. And that's what I want for Eddie Howe. Then you can discuss whether he's on the Peps or the Mourinho levels all you want. But he wins a trophy with us, 2 or 3, and then he gets to the Champions League regularly, he's already set himself as a top manager. And from then on, his credentials fly, But in terms of calling out his ceiling, I feel like he's a good manager, and with more investment, you will see what levels he can go to. But to call out his ceiling and say he's going to be a Pep and stuff like that, it's hard to say.
For me, Pete, before we go on to your opinion, I just want to say, for me, his ceiling's got a lot taller, a lot bigger, just due to the last couple of weeks where he's shown that he's actually got a plan B. Like the masterpiece, the masterstroke at halftime that he did against Brentford was set again, making those 2 changes as quick as he did, changing the game round, bringing off Murphy and Longstaff, bringing in Gordon and Wilson, changed the game there. The fact that he's bringing on so many different players in the likes of Joe Linton, like look at him now, look at some of the signings that he's brought in as well. So that's what's extended his for me.
I feel like his ceiling will only be ruined if he did what a Potter did. and left Newcastle thinking the grass is greener. Then you go to a club where it's just chaos, right? With Eddie, if you're allowed to do what he's doing in Newcastle, look, think about it like this. Yeah, remember last season when I said on the stream the other day, we went to the warm weather training, we had a bit of a dip, then we went on a mad run again. How is Eddie Howe getting us to do 5-6 games winning? Not unbeaten, like, oh, we drew 3 and 1-2. Like, we win 5 in a row. That's crazy to do in the Premier League. That's an elite manager with Sean Longstaff in your team for majority of the season. That's crazy. And keeping clean sheets, not conceding mad goals. This guy's a very good manager. I think it's because he's English and he managed Bournemouth. We're not ready to give him flowers. If his name was Eddie Howe and he knew, he'd be Ballon d'Or Murphy. But that's the levels he's at.
You love those names. Pete, talk to us, man.
Yeah, I think I don't think there is a ceiling to Eddie Howe. I think I think what he can achieve is completely down to him and what resources are given to him and what he's allowed to do at Newcastle United. Given the time, I think patience is the right word. If we're patient enough as a club, as a fan base, and we work with Eddie Howe, I think he can achieve great things. I think he can be one of our longest reigning managers that we've seen in certainly my lifetime, supporting Newcastle. And I think with that can allow us to win big trophies. Craig put it in the chat, and I fully agree. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Eddie Howe could be, with Newcastle, the first manager to win the Premier League, the first English manager, should I say, to win the Premier League, and that holds weight. That will hold weight not only with Newcastle. If he wins a trophy with us, he'll have a statue ready made for him anyway, and that will give him longevity. The fact that he's done that will give him time to then go on and continue the good work. But what it would do if he won the Premier League with Newcastle United, it would give him massive respect worldwide. The media, Sky, Europe, all the big teams then stand up and respect him. When Ranieri won the league with Leicester, it was a miracle, but they knew Ranieri because he'd already done the business before in other countries. So he already had that credential there. With Eddie Howe, that puts him onto a different stratosphere of manager, and really sets him apart from any other English manager that we've ever had, really. And that for me holds more weight than anything.
Yeah, just going to go to the chat quickly. So put some people on the screen. So question here from Mr. Wu saying, how often are you guys going to do lives? And literally this has just come about of, off the back of the Brentford game. We just thought, let's get the band back together and then just start, putting some content out. So as much as you guys want it, we'll start doing lives and do
as long as we have Arab owners.
Yeah, our owners are welcome all the time. But we'll start doing this a lot more, guys. So just keep watching in and keep submitting your questions as well, man. We're loving it as well. 40 loving all the Southern content. Keep it up. Guys, I can't do it without these two guys as well, Fumbi and Pete as well. So show them some love as well, because again, these guys make up Geordies Down South, and there's other people as well to come as well. So don't forget about these guys as well. It's not just myself. Big Dazza McKay saying, what positions and players are priority during the summer transfer window, both in and out the door, including valuations? We had this conversation the other day, Dazza. We could end up going on for another hour, but we've got things to do, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. What do you want to do? Do you want to do a quick synopsis of that? Because I know we can end up...
Yeah, just, like Pete said yesterday, man, just a couple... It's nothing crazy, but he said 4 marquee names, 4 names where everybody knows, oh, shit, they've arrived. And I think that's midfield, wing, and a centre-back, maybe. And a left-back. Definitely a left-back. Definitely looking at a left-back. But yeah, nothing crazy, just little seasoning.
I think I've seen that earlier in the chat. Someone put something about a left back is a priority. There we go. Raheem said that left back is a priority. Burn just ain't it. Craig said earlier, Borna Souza for left back for me. I think someone else said something about, there we go, Rico Henry from the other night. Again, the guy that got Brentford the penalty. So I guess, yeah, left back is a priority, but I still want that. Again, I agree with Pete, or what Pete said. Those £40 million players. I want some of them. Gotta get some of them in, man.
Yeah, we can get a 40 million left back.
Huh?
We can get a 40 million left back.
Of course we can, man. At least we got
Yeah.
money now. We got money
Yeah.
now, man. But
Nice money.
I suppose, like, we want some names, don't we? Like, throw out some names, man. I know Pete's got some off the top of his head. Come on.
Well, he was linked with signing a new deal at his club today, but I'm a massive fan of Ben Chilwell at Chelsea. Now, I don't think Chelsea would sell for us just for one thing, but you look at what Ben Chilwell can do. Yeah, he can get forward. He's a good defender at the back, but he can get forward, scores goals, good delivery of a ball, take set pieces. He just has a little bit of everything. Played in the Champions League. He's just that ready-made player. But because Cucurella has not had a great season, I think they're looking at maybe keeping Chilwell long term, whereas that wasn't always the case earlier on in the season because he has had a few injuries. Borna Sosa's another one. I've looked at him very, very closely in Germany. Croatian left back, played at the World Cup. Good delivery, gets up and down, very, very good, rated. I think, if I'm right in thinking, I think his contract might well be out either this summer or next summer. So he's on a cheap deal. He's on a cheap deal. And then there are others. We've been linked with Alex Grimaldo from Benfica. Good player, not as great defensively, but attacking wise, he gives you everything. Balls into the box, set pieces, the lot. But then you got to remember, Newcastle are probably looking at players that we don't even know about yet, that we haven't even heard the link for. The next time you hear about that player is when he's already in Newcastle taking his medical. You know what I mean? It's probably one of them ones. Where
I love those deals. Those deals that come.
Tell your name. I'm gonna throw in.
Go on.
Cancelo.
Ooh. Well,
remember, he's unknown at Bayern. He's not happy at City.
Ooh.
We could just say, "Hey, you be happy here." Hey, we'll just tell him this. He'll just ask, "How am I gonna play?" Dan Burns our left back. All right, cool. I'll sign him.
Don't do Dan Burn like that, man. Come on, Dan Burn.
Yo, 40. You hear a link to Cancelo? Lie to me. God, lie to me. Tell me you don't start moving different.
Listen,
bro, that's Premier League and Champions League ready.
Listen, Dan Burn's done a job for us, man. I've been riding for Dan Burn from the start.
But I'm just saying, Cancelo can be a possibility because of the relationship.
I know.
That could be a possibility.
I always say that Dan Burn gets a bit of a nosebleed every time he goes past the halfway line. I know. I want that left back to be bombing forward, getting balls into the box, getting Isak's big bonds onto it, or Wilson just tucking it home or tapping it home. Like, I want that sort of fullback. But yeah, big up to Dan Burn, man. And
hey, Cancelo will be gold for us. Cancelo will be in the lotto. That's like Arsenal signing Zinchenko, but better, in my opinion.
Yeah. What about your boy as well? Listen, how can we forget the João Pedro, man? You keep doing that thing. João Pedro, yeah, your boy. Yeah.
Yo, I heard the links again, innit? I heard the links again.
Of course. Well, from the football insider, so I don't know.
You know, it's 15 million, right? Yesterday's price is not today's price, right? They know that, right?
15 mil.
Yeah, they were flexing that time. They were flexing that time. They didn't qualify for it. They didn't get promoted. That's what changed. They didn't get promoted. So we knocked off 15 on that deal. Now we give you 15 and 5 million in add-ons because we nice.
Wow, you're negotiating hard, man. Jeez.
And João Pedro will be a nice developer because Eddie Howe will get the best out of him. So that's going to be a nice sit on the bench, watch Gordon run, enjoy Isak's little touches, learn from these men. Cup games, the Carabao Cup and that, bring him on, let him, wave to the fans. That'll be a nice little addition to the squad. But no more than 15 million because Watford tried to get cocky at first.
Yeah.
And I don't want Ismail Sarr, okay? Tell every man in the group we're not signing Sarr. Let that guy go.
I'm seeing a couple of comments in regards to just the work that Dan Ashworth's done basically previously at Brighton. So again, a couple of those 3 million signings here and there. What's your thoughts on them?
What was that? I missed that comment. What? Sorry.
So in regards to Ashworth's worth at Brighton previously, before like a couple of them cheap signings, just to sum it up, just to round it up.
100%. 100%. They are reaping those rewards. There's no doubt about it. They are basking in the glory of what Ashworth was able to put together, the team that he put together. They're just kind of carrying on the good work. And that's why they're still managing to churn through a couple of players, the likes of Mitoma and even Ferguson and Casado and players like that are a product of Dan Ashworth. They're not a product of the new sort of technical director and the one in charge now. That's from before. And you're absolutely right, is that what we will see in a few years' time is that conveyor belt of young players start to come through. We talked about on the previous show the young lad Franco that was from Brazil that we were looking to bring in. That's no different to a deal of the likes of Casado, and we will look for those young players to come through and make a difference. And we will look from, whether it's South America, whether it's Asia, whether it's Europe, whether it's, North America, wherever it is, we will get the players in. So I'm not worried about that. And that's where we'll be doing it different to the likes of Man City and Chelsea's, because we will get a gem like that for cheap money and make them into a star. Whereas they just went and bought until they won the league. So that's where we'll do it a little bit different. And that's where we'll get our respect in the end, I think.
Yeah, true. Right, guys, I think that's it for today. We've been on for an hour. We was only meant to do a bit quick half an hour just to talk about a couple of players, but we've just got carried away. But thanks to everyone tuning in. We're going to do more lives like this, and we'll have a lot more pre-recorded content to come out. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow us all on socials. You can see our social handles at the bottom of the screen there. Again, thanks to Fumi, thanks to Pete. Thank you to all listening in. And again, till next time, keep it tuned, people. Peace.